Hi, and welcome back to section 2. In this lesson, we're going to talk about mind myths, which is my name for what the world calls memes. Now, what the heck is a meme or a mind myth? Well, it's a mind virus. It's a belief that may or may not be true, but it spreads like wildfire through a culture. And a lot of the times it's not really true. Or it's a, quote, truth that's held by a very niche group of people, but they have the power to be able to spread it everywhere so everybody starts to believe it. Some examples of some mind myths through the years. There was a point in time when everyone thought the world was flat. That was a mind myth or a meme. And in fact, it caused a lot of problems because anybody that said it wasn't flat got into big trouble. Women are inferior to men. That's a mind myth that was in place and still is in some places today on this planet. The weapons of mass destruction, that was a mind myth. And what's interesting about mind myths is that even after we find out they're not necessarily true, as with the weapons of mass destruction, they continue to impact our minds because they've been imprinted there. So that belief, that unconscious myth, is in our minds and it filters our data and our reality and acts on us even if it was false. So we also have mind myths in business, all right? And a lot of them tend to limit our progress or our ability to see outside of the box or to move into innovation because they are based on, that's right, status quo. They're driven by the status quo bias and they are the way we've always done it. They become best practices, right? Part of the problem with best practices is that in our day and age, by the time you codify a best practice, which takes anywhere from 18 months to 2 years, it's already out of date. So it's already a myth and it's already false. So, but in business, there's a number of mind myths. Now, in your lesson notes, what you're going to find in the Revelation is 9 common mind myths in business that we hold today. So I need you to read that lesson. I'm going to talk about a few of these right now. For example, the fact that we are conscious, rational, always make logical decisions. That is a mind myth. And I think now that you understand more about the unconscious mind and how it filters our reality, how we're triggered by the programs unconsciously. I mean, the very fact that 95% of our decisions and behaviors are driven unconsciously tells us we're not conscious all the time. And I'm not so sure that it's always logical because logic is in the mind of the beholder because we all have our own sets of logic because we all have our own reality. So that's a mind myth. Another one is that anytime the economy crashes, we're all going to be broke. That one has been really permeating in our country since 2007. And the truth is that every time there's a down economy, there are entrepreneurs that break out and make tons of money and build huge businesses. Why? Because they're focused on the upside instead of focusing on the mind myth that they can't, and they're not triggering into that program. Another one is that the past predicts the future. All right, we've always done that in business. What do? We pick out last year's business plan and we update it. We look at statistics to the past and project them into the future and say that's how our business is going to run. Well, you know what? Not anymore. Not in today's dynamic world. You can't trust that what happened 6 months ago is going to be what happens in a month or even now. So those are 3 mind myths in business that we have just come to believe through osmosis and through the cultural programming, and we need to start beginning to shift those. So you have 9 in the Revelation. Now, here's what I'm going to ask you to do about mind myths. All I want you to do is become aware of them. Once again, a lot of this early work in this course is about bringing into awareness, and then we'll move more and more into how to actually change things going forward. Here's what I want you to do with mind myths. Become aware of them. Become aware of your own mind myths about what you believe that's true about business or whatever. And here's what I want you to do. Question it. Question everything. Just ask questions like, when was the last time I checked to see if this is true? Have I found evidence of this lately? Have I really gone out and tried to prove this wrong? What about this am I so sure of that I'm going to hold on to it no matter what? Because under the examination of conscious awareness, mind myths can be switched off, and they will be switched off. All right? So, read the Revelation. I also, if you really want to see some mind myths that are blown up around our world, There's a video in the lesson notes called the thrivemovement.org, thrivemovement.org. And that is, it's Jimmy Carter's niece's, Jimmy Carter's niece's husband, and he was the heir apparent to the Procter & Gamble fortune, and he and Jimmy's niece come out and share a few little mind myths about how this world really runs, and it will blow your mind. So if you want to check that out, and then also continue to do your exercises and the audio program for this course, okay? Talk to you next on the next lesson.